Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Okay, we're just making sure that we've got all the necessary sorted. Yes, there was no sound because I was on mute. You should be hearing me now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Tell me if you can actually hear me. Still no sound? Still no sound? Okay, you're hearing me now. Okay, excellent. Yes, it was on mute. That's why. That's why you weren't hearing me. Brilliant. Okay. All righty. Hold on 1 second. We're just going to get everything started. Do the necessary shares now that we are live. Okay. Bear with me. Head over to Facebook. Okay, all done. All right, brilliant. Yes, hearing now. Perfect. Okay. All right. Just saying hello to everybody. Good evening, and welcome to those of you who are new to my platform. This is Head Teacher K Speaks. And over here, we try to tackle subjects that are trending on social media from a very objective perspective. We try to be as unbiased as possible. A lot of the commentary that will take place in this live will be very hard hitting. I expect everybody in Head Teacher K's class to have their wits about them when it comes to making sure that there are no minors in the room. So remove children from your space because I cannot promise you that this will be a swear-free zone, okay? I'm certain a lot of you are eager for this interview to start. But before we begin, we're going to have some housekeeping rules, okay? I know this is a very impassioned topic. Lots of people are very eager on the edge of their seats to get their points across. However, in this class, we are very respectful in the comments. I'm certain lots of you who started when you just came on the live received your notifications. We expect everybody to be respectful. We also ask that you do not call any names of people in the comments. This is for your safety and also for the safety of this platform. We will not have any slander or any libel in the comments. Moderators are on the ready to block anybody who is deemed to be very disrespectful. You will also be placed on timeout if you repeat offend being rude to any of the guests on this program. I am saying this on the basis of what has been observed on the previous interview. We're very strict over here for the simple reason that we treat people with respect, so we expect it back in return. Okay? Other than that, we're going to have a nice time. You understand? All right. So I am certain everybody is eager to hear from our guest, which is Wayne Forbes, the past producer of Partner Draw TV. This whole thing has been a social media, I wouldn't say drama. I think it's more than that. Partner Draw TV has been one of the hugest, most impacting platforms on social media for a very long time. And it has been so for good reason. It has provided content that many people have found to be so helpful. It has provided social advocacy, social justice for many. Therefore, it has been held in high regard by many Jamaicans across the globe, not just within the island, across the diaspora. When we saw Partner Draw TV look like it was about to crumble before our eyes, it was something that greatly affected a lot of us. Andre Stevens, the character who leads on the platform by his very presence, seemed to be going through what we can say is a mental health crisis. It was observed by many people, and lots of opinions were formed by the things that were released by Andre or by somebody on his platform. We are going to go through some of these allegations, but first, let me welcome on board Wayne, Legal Opinion, Forbes, ex-producer of Partner Draw TV. Please come on board, Wayne. Make sure that your sound is on and join the conversation. Wayne, can you hear me?
I am here, head teacher. Good evening, and good evening to your audience.
Good evening, good evening. And I'm certain you guys are aware that Wayne does not like to come on camera. So you are going to be having his voice. His presence is here on my screen. I can see him. But you are going to be hearing his voice for this interview. This is what he prefers. I think the only time I've ever seen Wayne active on camera was his graduation. That was the only video I saw where Wayne was active on camera. So generally, he tends to stay off camera, and we're going to respect his wishes. Okay, Wayne, welcome to Head Teacher K Speaks, and thank you very much for joining us. And you know, I want the audience to be aware of the fact that you and I are of no past affiliation. Wayne and I
Correct.
do not know each other any other place other than on Facebook. We have not communicated on a personal basis during all of this, excepting to arrange the interview. Isn't that correct, Wayne?
That is correct.
Yes. And therefore, I want the audience to know that for the purpose of this interview, there is no allegiance per se. I have been watching Andre's show for some time, particularly since the Donnelly incident. And, you know, I had my up and down moments with Andre's personality. And I would not consider myself to be a student either. So really and truly, I am an objective observer, okay? So Wayne, we're gonna go right in it, okay? Without hesitation. Can you, for the purpose of this interview, and obviously for my new followers, admin, can I just double check that subscriber only mode is on? Let me just message and make sure. Give me 1 second, people, because I don't want this to go AWOL. Okay. So let me just check that subscriber mode is on. Bear with. Okay. Right, I'm sure they will sort it out. Okay, so for the purpose of this interview, we are going to be going through things in a chronological order. When on the 28th of August, you first put out a kind of message. I'm not sure if it was a cryptic message. I think it was kind of straightforward, to be perfectly honest. And in that message on your Facebook, you were talking about the fact that, you know, you are not you're not going to be a fraud or a fake, and you're not going to try and control people and stuff like that. It was about the 28th. I'm certain of it. And when I saw that, I was like, what is Wagwan yourself? And then shortly after, when we saw an announcement on the 31st. And in that announcement, you were basically saying that you were no longer a part of Partner Draw TV. So I'm just going to
Yes.
pull up that statement that you made in August. I'm going to pull up that statement you made in August, because I thought to myself, that was quite surprising. To us, you were a force to reckon with. We know that you had your little tit for tat on the program before, but you know, you guys seem to work it out. You seem to be going through things perfectly fine. So to see this suddenly come out of the blue was quite shocking. Can you give a little bit of background knowledge for those who are new about why it is that you felt the need on the 28th to talk about the fact that you're not about to be controlled? Okay, I've got it right here, Wayne. I'm going to read it for you just to remind you. Nothing that ungrateful people do or say will stop me from helping anyone. I will never be fake. I will never lead people astray. My intention is not to control anyone or lie to people for person gains. I suppose you meant personal gains and popularity. Yes, and popularity. And that was on the 28th. Can you just explain what you meant by that? For one thing, you're calling people ungrateful. You're saying that you will never be fake or lead people astray. I particularly found the second sentence quite interesting, because the second sentence is implying that somebody's being fake and somebody is leading people astray. So can you just give a little background leading up to this point? What resulted in this post?
That was after a few weeks of vile, twisted, vitriol, bitterness, malice, blocking of phones and all that. And in public, it was made to be different. Wayne and I are okay. Sometimes it is said that Wayne is going back to do his master's or other things to fill in the gap, but not to say the relationship between Wayne and I is vile, bitter, and twisted at the moment. It was on that day that the deal signed between both of us as well, and I felt a little freedom. So it was on the back of saying, with all of what was happening with the previous week, this is why I took a stand, because I will never be fake. I will never lead people astray, meaning I present a different me in public and an awfully different me in private. So that was where...
So just sorry to interrupt you, Wayne. Sorry to interrupt you. So were you implying that Andre Stevens in particular presented a different persona to the public? He was in private.
Yes, because even in that scenario from the 13th of August onward, when he was not talking to me, the public was made to know something different, as at one point everything was all right, another point Wayne is taking a break to do his master's, everything is okay with Wayne and myself, and then all I would get in private, if anything at all, is vile, bitter, twisted vitriols. So that was what the reference is coming from.
Okay, but one could argue, Wayne, that if, for example, something is happening in-house in your relationship, and it is, you know, the early stage of it, that he's right in a way to protect that information from the public. Not that doesn't to me necessarily make him fake if he is trying to protect the brand itself of Partnerdraw TV and handle things off air. Where I'm wondering is if what you found was the fact that he was pretentious in how he represented his relationship with you, as though it was all perfect, where he could have, I suppose, avoided the subject altogether. So the pretentiousness, I think, is something, but I think that at that stage, he was probably right not to bring that to the public while you were busy having your tussle off air, which would not necessarily make him fake or you know, trying to control or lie to anyone. So you went on to that part. So I think that's a deeper point. But maybe as we go through the other bits, we'll hear a bit more about why you said that.
No, the reason, as I said, the reason I said that, it was even within the negotiation, I knew he was not willing to let me go peacefully. Even before we thought of the non-disclosure agreement to protect certain things, I knew he wouldn't let me go peacefully. It was vile, bitter, and twisted privately. The threats I was getting of the destruction that would have come to my reputation if I do not comply. So all those things led me to make such statement, because on that day, the deal was agreed to. I was hopeful that we were going to move on in peace, but it turned out not to be so.
Right.
But the reference was coming from that behavior during that period.
So would you say that this particular voice note of Andre was what led to your reaction? Because apart from the fact that, you know, you started to drop these little messages and hints, and then you came out with your resignation from Post, you know, there's this whole thing going on about the fact that you seem to think that you are some kind of god. And I remember that Andre put out a voice note about this. And I'd like to know if this was actually from that time where you guys were busy falling out. I'm going to play it for the audience.
God, in my own blood clot perspective and self, nobody can command me. Nobody never get that power over me. Me have that bomber blood clot power from birth. Nobody can command me. Me ride pan high fear, me ride deep in a blood clot ocean. Nobody can command me. Nobody has never managed to do it yet. This is the problem in my family. This is the problem in my friendship. Nobody has ever managed to bomb a clot, command, or contain my pussy clot yet. It will not happen. You will have to work with me in can pussy bomber blood clot junction. Nobody.
So was he trying to control you in?
That voice note was on the 12th of August. And if you play the voice note, there's a voice note after that. Can you play that one?
Yep.
Section.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull it up.
It's time for you to come under subjection. Sit down. I'm going out. You know, a damn silent zone. Sit down.
Well, the first
voice came first.
The last voice note came first.
Oh.
So that was.
So he messaged you this? He messaged you this, Wayne? Did he message you this?
Yes, he did. And then my response was God in my own rights. That was on the 12th of August. That was when I approached him about where he had took the brand that week from Monday onwards to Friday. So that conversation was on Saturday the 12th. But he was...
So what does he mean by you must come under subjection? What does he mean by that?
Coming under subjection mean I must subject my will to him and in his spiritual world as well, because he was going to initiate me to take me to another level, but I'm afraid of the unknown. So because I have contacted
Hold
him.
on, Wayne, hold on, draw breaks. So he is not only talking about subjection in terms of your submissiveness to him as the Partner Draw TV character, the main character. He's not just talking about making sure you follow instructions within the setup of Partner Draw TV. He's talking about you coming under subjection spiritually.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So, Wayne, I'd like to know a bit more about this because, you know me, I'm not afraid of nothing like that, you know. So the rest I want up on the platform, well, if you're afraid, get up on yourself.
When he spoke to me about the 8 days process he was about to embark on, he told me some things I need to purchase. I don't think I'm going to itemize them, but he gave me a list of things to purchase, things that are daily use, but also are used in spiritual rituals. So he asked me to do those, and he said, I want you to trust me. I'm going to take you into higher places. I'm going to take you into the unknown. I tell him, Andre, me no like what place women unknown. And he continues to go on and on. But this was before we got to Saturday. So when I reached out to him Saturday, he saw me as disrupting his order meaning his spiritual order. And then all hell broke loose and the tirade started between us. So that was when he said to me, it's time, because we were in a back and forth, it's time for you to come under subjection. And then his tone of voice went up, and that triggers me. It really did. And that was where the...
So that is why you responded so vehemently. Yes, so that's where that passion came from. I am a God in my own right. In other words, I will not be under subjection to anybody. No human being.
Neither to human being or their spiritual entities.
Well, I can completely understand that, because if you are not following that spiritual path, it's important that you rebuke it. And you know, the tone that you did come across as was it was definitely a tone of rebuking, but because it was taken out of context. Yes.
As I said, it was backing up the demon.
So, Wayne, are you aware of Andre Stevens being involved in spiritual acts that are not necessarily aligned with positive Christianity? I mean, is he involved in dark rituals? Is that what you're alleging?
I don't know how dark the rituals
or do you know that's a fact?
I don't know how dark the rituals are, but there are evidence to suggest he is doing rituals. I don't know how dark they are, but there are evidence to suggest that. And
what evidence are you talking about? What evidence?
He was very brazen about what he was doing, because he really thought spiritually he was going to have me under control. He and his spiritual advisor went as far as researching my astrology and went after one of my astrological numbers.
Yes.
My soul urge number, they went after.
So this sounds to me like Scientology. It sounds like it. It sounds very similar, where they basically study about numerology and how that impacts on the spiritual being. It sounds like Scientology, which really is not aligned with Christianity at all.
Yeah, they are that deep. They are that deep.
When you say they, who do you mean?
Andre and his spiritual advisor I'm referring to. I sent you to a clip. Are you able to bring them on screen?
I'm about to play it. Very good introduction. I'm about to play it. All right. So we're gonna We are going to, first of all, watch a video that is about an introduction of Andre's team. I believe that this was during the back to school funding. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Bear with me, people. So I'm just going to share the video with you. And I may turn my video off for this purpose because I do not want my graphics to interfere. Let me just do that. I'm sure you guys can still hear me. Okay, guys, I want you to give me the thumbs up if you can actually see the video. All right. Okay, I'm going to press play on that.
Mama who? Yes, they call her Tippy. So when you listen me walk and look like penguin, my mother basically come from. But she had the Tippy version and me had the penguin. Thank you, Mommy. And all other mothers, know yourselves. Mother Foster Allen, thank you. Mother Octavia Waite, thank you. Mother Karen Harriott, thank you. Mother Gail Abrahams, thank you. Mother Nerissa Samoth, thank you. Auntie Claudette, thank you. Josette, thank you. Tanya, thank you. Queenie, although you're not there with me today, thank you. Professor Hamilton, mother extraordinaire and mentor, thank you. My big sister Danielle Archer, thank you. My brother confidant and trustee Anu L. No, I don't know how much this guy has done for me. Can we all just, Anu, just stand up for me 1 second, please. If you want to know who held me through all this time and made Partner Draw alive, that is him. Daddy Abrahams. Thank you, Daddy Abrahams. And to my brother that is in England, that you don't see today, Wayne Forbes. Come on, big up Wayne, big up Wayne. Bonnie Rose. Honestly, when you send a little Zelle support to me every day or every other time or every week, a Bonnie Kaleki for me. Thank you, Bonnie, for being an honest human being. And I'm going to say something to you now, and I'm going to say a lie, Andre. From I start my YouTube, Bonnie don't ask me for 1 cent. From I start YouTube, Bonnie don't ask me for $1. My mother, Nerissa, never asked me for $1. Stand up, stand up, stand up. The protector of my finances. Guys, there is a reason for it all. I never had it. You see that woman there, her name Suzette? partner draw she show to make sure say all our pitting them go to school. So one of the things that Andrew Oldness me a talk about partner draw, my parents me a talk about, I want my partner draw. Because me and my mother did have some bittersweet times, you know. I know found know where the bank can own in a problem. But her mother, me never know say mother do what she have to do. Me I see it as take way, but mother have to balance. But a years after you learn the lesson and the importance of what mother teach, she can't tell you everything in a picnic. But you go rebel. She take away my money. Go to grandma, mama. She take away everything from me. I get nothing. No, the school shoes have to buy. The school uniform have to buy. You have to get the book them. You have to get the lunch money. So I'm not afraid to tell you that I did there some evil things, but I regret them. I regret every moment, guys. Because I had to go out there trying to find love from everybody else. And the few who came about in the last 3 to 4 years were the genuine ones.
All right. So of the team for Andre, Wayne, and all the names that were mentioned, which of those names were the spiritual advisors? Because he mentioned quite a few names. Were all of them the spiritual advisors? Were particular people the spiritual advisors? Who were the spiritual advisors? Can you hear me, Wayne?
Yes, sorry, I was muted.
You were muted.
Yes, I do not want to libel your program. Her name was called.
Right.
But if people want to know who she is, I have posted her over my page.
Thank you very much. So if you are interested in knowing who the spiritual advisor is, you can go to the page, to Wayne's page on Facebook. Is it on Facebook?
She's posted on Facebook and Instagram.
And on Instagram, and you can
Yes.
see who the spiritual advisor is for yourself. Okay. Now there is a particular thing that is mentioned, because we're going to move on to the next part of the topic. Now we've had a bit of a background of the lead up to the whole thing. I'm not wanting to duplicate the information that was on Jamaican Carlos's live, so people can feel free to go there to get a bit more. We're going to focus now on one particular element that was mentioned in that speech, and that is about Narissa. So Narissa, who is the Partner Draw TV grandma,
yes,
is the person that Andre has referred to as holding the purse strings, the financial controller for his platform.
The protector of my finances.
Right. So I'm going to ask you this. Under what circumstances was it deemed necessary to have an alternate person in control of Andre's platform, his finances? Why was it that Andre was not deemed fit to handle his own money?
My understanding, the YouTube channel cannot be monetized in Jamaica. That was my understanding at the time. I don't know if it has changed. So that was, it was monetized in the United States, and therefore would have to be linked to a bank account in the United States, also to a United States Social Security number. So
so that's the reason why.
That was the reason why it was set up that way, because if Andre were to set it up on his own, then he wouldn't fill the criteria to.
Right. Okay. So it had to then, I'm imagining then that it has to be set up with an American bank account.
Correct. That's correct.
And that person would have to handle the taxes, because when you do your YouTube, you have to make sure that you sign your tax declaration form. So they would have to handle all of that. Now, my question is that, fair enough, this was a technicality, But it sounds to me as though Narissa has more than just a clerical position in order to make this manifest for Andre. Certainly in listening to when she appeared on the interview last night, it sounded as though she had quite a control over how much money was given to Andre, when it was given, and why it was given, which is not exactly the normal scenario. If I, for example, ask my friend to set up my YouTube channel for me and, you know, collect the money, I am going to be making arrangements that every week I want X amount of money sent to me. If I ask for extra, it should be done without hesitation. You know, make whatever arrangement it is to cover her expenses or whatever. But I'm just saying that it does not equate to then my friend being able to turn around and tell me, no, you cannot have this for X reason at X time. Why does Narissa have such a stronghold over the finances, and how has this been written into the runnings of Partner Draw TV, which makes it look almost to the disadvantage of Andre, because Andre is then coming to his platform and making it seem as though he does not have access to certain things that he should, as the lead personality, have?
Well, to answer that question, I think what Narissa said last night was read wrongly. She was making things clear. The way things is attached at the moment, she was pointing out the legalities. And because Partner Draw is linked to her business, Bunny Rose Entertainment, and she have to do all the taxes for Partner Draw. So you have to imagine that all the finances, when it comes to dealing with IRSA, you have to have a track record of how these money are dispersed, such as the back to school situation, or Andre might want money to disperse to whoever he wants to disperse it to. There needs to be a record of that for Narissa, so when she's doing her tax return. So it's not a matter of control, it's a matter of legality and technicality.
Okay, I can understand that to an extent, but for example, and you will know this as somebody who is in the legal profession, right?
Mm-hmm.
The boundaries between the United States and Jamaica do not blur. Our law in Jamaica tends to fall more along the British lines, okay, based on our history. Therefore, if, for example, I am running a back to school thing in Jamaica, it has no bearing on the taxes of the United States. For example, if she's taking money out to pay me, she would have to put it under a tax category that matches what's happening in America. So if she's saying that it's done for charity, then she'd go X amount of money for charity, and then she would donate that to Andre. If she's saying it's to buy equipment, you know, like for the back to school stuff, and she's purchasing stuff on his behalf, for example, I'm just giving an example, I'm not saying she's doing that, then it would go under equipment, you know, stationery, blah, 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 and all the taxes would match accordingly. So I'm saying that if Andre wants his money for any particular thing, it doesn't have to necessarily be reflected on her books as exactly what it is, because things in Jamaica may not necessarily align with what would be considered taxable in the United States. Maybe I'm getting that wrong.
But
okay?
Can you imagine
but
though?
I'm just
Can
saying,
you imagine though?
That's what I'm getting.
Can you imagine after the producer stole 3.5 million, which he did not have access to, and Grandma, which is the financial controller, will want to make sure anybody come back and say, I can't remember taking this money or what I took it for. Grandma would want to make sure she have proper reference to say, this was when you took it, this was the amount you took, and this was the reason or purpose you took it for. So I support her
Yes.
wholly and solely in that, based on what is happening to me.
Okay, I get that completely. I'm also going to draw a line under it. I mean, I personally, and I'm sure many people would say that it comes across as disempowering Andre when it comes to his own wealth. I'm not saying that he wouldn't mismanage it. I'm not saying that he wouldn't, use it wrongly, buy too many things, give it away too many times. But I'm saying that not having the power to do that is a disempowerment. And I think that Andre has every right to want to control his money, or want to dictate how he uses it. Fair enough, she is tightening the reins,
To be
as she
honest
says,
with
and she's
you,
doing it
I'm
for
going
his
to
own
be
good, but
100% honest. There is no control over Andre money. Whenever he's ready for it, he gets it. All there needs to be a record of it. There is absolutely no control. If he wants it to throw up in the air, that does happen. But a record needs to say that
yes.
you took it to throw up in the air.
Exactly. And I think that should suffice. Perhaps the way the interview came across was not quite how she meant it. Where she said she's going to hold the reins even tighter and things like that. All right. We're going to move away from that now, and we're going to now tackle a particular voice note leak that came out on Andre's platform on the 10th of September. It is one of the most incensed ones. It's the one that was most contradictory. I am going to skip through certain parts of that voice note with regards to your illness, because honestly, that's nobody's business. I'm not interested in that. It's not related to anything. And personally, I feel that whole exposure was an insult. It was an insult not just to you, but to anyone who has that condition. One does not out somebody's status in terms of vengeance or anger. It was a despicable move, and I don't back away from that. So I shall be skipping through that, but we're going to focus on the other accusations that were made in that voice note. So feel free to mute your mic. I'm going to go off camera, guys, while I share this, okay? Sorry, guys. It's still loading. Okay, here we go. Right, tell me if you can see my screen, and I want you to put in the comments if you can hear the sound as well, because this usually gives me trouble and I may have to come out of it and just play the audio, but tell me if you can hear it. Okay.
I gather that you wanted the interview with Epic and wanted interview with Carlos. Speak. Speak. I dare you to speak. I dare you to start it. Because you're God in your own right and nobody can control you. Speak, Wayne. And when I cry for the millions you take from me, will you tell me, say, oh Jesus, when I cry for my YouTube money when I work hard for, when him Andre Stevens show, when me I pay you for, even before when you start get paid, for all your trip them when you take a burning and for all of the money you use to give your family, yeah man, without my permission, all right, start it. But remember, me have the proof now. So you have plans to go up an interview, but start it. Play all of the voice note them for Jamaica where you have. Play all of them. Destroy Jamaica. I dare you. I dare you to start it. God in your own right, just start it, man. Just start it. Me not come back on YouTube, you know. Me not come back on social media. Me done with it. So just start it. So it's my money where you thief from me, you thief it. Because me have you with the Nerissa attack, say, guys, we just want to bail him and this and that. We're not going to take any money. And then you're going to tell you, remember, he said to me, say, Dre, we can't trust Nerissa. And start sending over the money. All of them conversations they may have recorded. Me record everything when me never like about you. And how much time you talk about Andre, start sending over. When me couldn't send over my money to somebody when no max. Because you would have start, take it out, pinch it, 500. When me start, look, every time you get money, the first thing you start do a work. Oh, you have to spend for yourself. No, wait, my bill. Me not spend for yourself. Because you're sick and are dead. You think say if you say spend for yourself. No, me not me. Diabetic, but me can't heal my diabetic. But because you're careless and you're nasty and go infect yourself. So me go say this to you. Get back my money from you, you know. Me I get back my money, me I go prove. So you blackmail from Queen Africa time, you know. All of them Nerissa have, you know. And Nerissa ready to release them, you know. So come, man. Come if you think you're bad. Come if you think you're bad. The little time you have pay me little this and that, and I thief me money and I go and burn him, and the woman I get the 200 and the $300. Yeah, man, the woman send me all of the proof them. And me hold it. Yeah, man, Wayne, me ready for you. Thiefing, dirty, drunk, all skirmish. Me ready for you. Me ready. You see, like how you never have no compassion when Edda dead, and you come, my mother said, fight Tiara, fight for my legacy. You so much night mistake on YouTube and I'll sick, and when you come destroy me and do all sorts of something and tell me how much bumper pussy rascal and me have to put on face at night time just for all it for 6 days. All you do is smoke. And all you do, and when the blood pressure me give you this and give you that will help you. And this and that. No, man, you's a wicked, dirty, treacherous, nasty, dirty drunker. But start it, and I ready me with this try to build again. Because 3 points hard, me can't get back that for one program. And when me show Jamaica how you destroy me and take me money like Odian, you was the biggest scammer. Come take me YouTube money when me are settle in a little room. And I take disrespect and I take lick from people. For bill, I go and show Jamaica how you scam me and fraud me and blackmail me. And I go and, hey, you see how long me shut up? Me write your script. You see, you don't know when me go silent. I write your script, Judas.
Okay, I'm gonna pause the share there, okay, and come back. We're gonna address it bit by bit because it's quite a lengthy video, and I do not want us to miss each of the points, okay? Wayne, if you can just make sure that you're not muted, brilliant. Okay, so we're gonna start with the allegations about we know about the 3.6 million, the 3.5 million that was cleared up quite well in Jamaican Carlos's live. I think we do not need to revisit that. It is very clear that you did not take that money despite that accusation. But Wayne, what I'm picking up is that there were several other monies that he is claiming that you have either scammed or taken without his permission. And I think it's important that you also address that, because all of it is a slander on your integrity. The biggest money we know has been, a line has been drawn under that. We know for a fact that Wayne Forbes did not take that 3.5 million. He did not have the access to the bank account, and he could not access it because apparently, according to Nerissa, there's no way he could have taken it because she wouldn't have allowed it. Okay. But I'm going to ask you about the Cash App, the PayPal, the some lady in Birmingham. What is the story about that? Why is he claiming that you took monies without permission? You took monies for things to do with this lady in Birmingham. You took Cash App money. What Cash App money was involved in any transactions between yourself and Partner Draw TV?
Right. I used to collect Cash App and PayPal donations for Andre on this side. There has never been a discrepancy, an argument, or anything with regards to do with Cash App or PayPal money. Those money were used to pay Andre's rent every month up until, I think, about March, April this year. At some point as well, he will also call me and say, send £100 for this person or send £200 for this person. The envelope from the lady in Birmingham, where he said the lady called him and tell him or give him proof. No, that's not true. It is true that
Right.
a particular lady in Birmingham, when I'm in Birmingham, would give me an envelope to give him. He says every week. I generally come to Birmingham once a month, sometimes twice a month. Those envelopes, it's Wayne who told Andre about it, because the lady on Andre doesn't really communicate, because it's not everybody calls that Andre answers. So it's me that the lady communicate with, and it's me, Wayne, who told Andre about those money. There has never been any money discrepancy between Andre and I. And like I said last night on Jamaican Callers, if the major part of the money that you claim was stolen is a blatant lie, and while you have not furnished any evidence to substantiate any of the other money that you're claiming was stolen or defrauded, then it is dismissed without prejudice until you can furnish the evidence in public.
I'm going to counteract that, because as much as what you're saying may be true in terms of legalities, there is a technicality that you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
You could not possibly have touched the money in America because it was under the management of Narissa. So without you being even within the locality, even on the documentation to access that money, there is no way you could have touched that $3.5 million. However, squarely within your lap and currently on your website is the fact that you have got access to the PayPal, the Cash App, and other things that people can pay money towards, which sits in your lap and in your control.
Correct.
Now, I'm taking it from your word that you are handling that money in a transparent way. But
Correct.
Is it that this lady from Birmingham has reached out to Andre to say otherwise? Do you have records? Do you have anything to say that, you know, this woman has said that she's happy with the way you have handled her money?
Yes. 100% yes.
Okay. So is it possible for you to share something like that on a public platform, or without, you know, you could easily remove her name or whatever?
I cannot share it on a public platform. It's a very private family.
Okay.
But as a professional, I'll share it with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Because I think that in terms of what people might be thinking, they're going to be seeing that it's possible that you can have access to these monies and that it can be mismanaged, because who is checking and balancing and monitoring you? So while Narissa may be running a particular business, there's her, there's Bunny, yes, they both might have an eye on each other and on certain things. You essentially are isolated from the team being based in the UK. I don't believe there's anybody else other than yourself in the UK, is there?
That's correct.
So therefore, there's nobody to evaluate your actions, monitor your actions, or check anything that you're necessarily doing. And that's what will throw up the public.
It can be checked in many ways. One, by the PayPal and Cash App records. And it can also be validated by the transfers sent to Andre.
Okay. So I suppose, should that ever come to a situation of going forward legally, that would remove any doubt. But
He
I can
and
understand both sides.
He and I have the proof. Every money that I transfer, and he has the receipt, and I have them.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, you know, as long as that exists, then there's nothing to
I mean,
worry
it's
about.
time enough
It really
that
is a
he.
simple thing.
It's time enough that he furnished some evidence. He says
Yes.
he got them.
Yeah.
It is time enough for him to present evidence to the public.
That is a point. Yeah, if he has got evidence that you have stolen it, then why not throw it out? Why not say he has come to his platform and he has said, you know, he wants Jamaica to stand by him. He has provided evidence when there has been certain, you know, situations or cases. Certainly, he has brought evidence to the table when he's doing his Panadraw TV event. Then why not in this case do exactly the same is a very good question. Whereas others may argue that because Andre is presenting what to the public seems to be symptoms of a mental health crisis, he may not be in the right space to do so at the moment. Now, as to whether or not that's actually true, we will go into that in a moment. All right, I'm going to play a bit more of the video. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Mute your screen.
Everybody in the Bible, where you come in at the farmer, I go and show them the journey where you come as the serpent and Eve. I go and go from the beginning of creation. I go and destroy you with venom and fire. Use a drunkard, use a dirty beast, and go on a graveyard tonight. Go on for your mama tonight. Go on for your dirty parity family. Wanna mix up in a Adventist and mix up in a RG. Go on. Because when you're done, wanna go at the serpent. Hey, you remember God talk about Revelation? You see, when we go into the book of Revelation and start reveal everything you be in a revelation. And hey, you see, when we go in a certain judgment, a certain thing, and when we go in a anti and say, oh, we came in this farm. Hey, you're going to disrupt Jamaica. So you see, because it's going to disrupt me, now I come back on social media. Me going to make my money. People love me. People want to see me do good because me help people. Me help people. Me build people. Me not destroy them. But you see you deserve a destroy because you are destruction. Shame. Remember you talk about how me is not honest was the problem. You're delusional with him. You never know say delusional, you're delusional. You come, you want to share that and you plan, you go call audience and start plan. Oh, never tell everything. But come now, Wayne. Come, little David ready. David was a shepherd boy and killed Goliath and shouted for joy. Wayne, me no reason why I'm silent so long. You recognize how I run from every time you disrespect me? Me run and come back and just mask it up. Because me that get stronger. Say, see, Wayne, come. Come, Wayne. Come. Come with your thousands of demons. Come with the legions of the 33,000. Come with your 333. Come with your graveyard of 999. Come in a Jerusalem schoolroom. But remember, when I don't size you up, I hope you know say blood pressure raise now. I don't done with you yet. You see, until you apologize to me, I make me walk peacefully, but send back my money because me curse it. Me say everything, me do everything. The money will never. Hey, I find everything by you in a way. Everything. You see, all your family them, where you every one of them ready to talk now. You see, all the one where get the HIV, me find them. Yes. You think you alone did that find me? Find them, Wayne. All of the Nazis, we find all one of the old man them are Clarendon. Yes, man.
Okay. So we're going to address the whole thing about the claims that Andre presented on his platform about you taking control of his page, about you being the Judas, about you trying to twist and manipulate the audience to basically turn against him. We had a series of cryptic voice notes, messages that were dropped on his platform. And what I found particularly interesting was the very first voice note leak, which was about, you know, that threat to reveal further voice notes. He was speaking to a female politician, apparently, telling her that, you know, be careful not to call his phone again and stuff like that. That he used to be there for her and now he's no longer going to be there for her. And he's reminding her about the fact that, you know, he can release further voice notes about buggery, etc., etc. I'm not calling any names because, you know, I'm keeping my platform away from that stuff. But what was interesting was that when this was dropped, at first it was dropped with a different caption. And then hours later, that caption changed to this. So bear with me. I'm going to share exactly what it changed to. Guys, you should still be able to see me in the corner here. Okay. So we had, first of all, we had this was before the actual leaked voice note. So he came out and he said, and this is all on the 10th of September, by the way. I don't know what was special about that date, but a lot of stuff came out on the 10th of September. The Forbes legal opinion, Wayne, the 9 shades of the post will release at 9 p.m. I am finishing with this platform. Then he goes on to call him a Judas. He refers to the fact that, you know, he made him cry because during the death of Heather, you know, he's then said, you cut up the voice note to make me look bad, but you never released the entire voice notes. So yeah, this is after. You never released the entire voice note. You are a Judas. And I begged you this morning to come back home, but no, you decided to use my platform and destroy my reputation. Wayne, did you have access to this man's platform during this time? Because I remember that on the 10th of September, under the page transparency, it still showed that the administrators of the page were based in Jamaica as well as based in the UK. So did you have access to Andre's page during this time when he was accusing you of being the person to release certain voice notes, splice it up, mix it up, whatever, and post it? Was it you?
I still had access to his page at that time, but prior to the 28th of August, I asked Andre, that was before the deal tied up. I sent Andre a text. Can you ask your team to remove my access from your Facebook page? He responded respectfully, if you need to say anything to me, I suggest you go through Nerissa or Anu. I also forward that message to them. Andre refused to remove me from his Facebook page. It had turned out to me then, after everything transpired, that he waited and did not do it because that was another twist to the illusion of the Judas.
So are you saying that you did not have password access? Is that what you're saying, that you did not have password access? Had he changed the password on you?
I was kicked out of it, was it last Sunday?
Last Sunday, that's correct, yes.
I've never had a password for it.
Never had a password. So how were you, I'm trying to understand, how you were locked out? Is it that you were blocked? Is it that I'm just trying to figure out, just by understanding how Facebook works? If I have a page and I want to add somebody as admin, they then have to accept it.
That was done last year when he added me as an admin and I accepted.
Right. So how then were you unable to access his page? I'm trying to figure out how he stopped that from happening.
No, I said I asked to be removed before the 28th, but he did not until last Sunday.
So you had access?
That's what I said, yes.
Oh, so you had access. Now, how are you, and I'm just putting myself, I'm putting myself in the position of the people that were claiming, it's Wayne who's posting this, it's Wayne, this is not Andre, this is not Andre's writing, okay? Now, seeing the page transparency say that you had access, which you have now confirmed, seeing certain posts, which you are claiming is a part of an illusion being created by Andre, how are you able to disprove that it was you?
I don't have a way of disproving it.
So it really and truly leaves you at a disadvantage. Now, were there any other Jamaican-based administrators, for example, who would have been able to see who posted what? Because behind the background of the page, when an admin makes a change to the page, it actually shows the name of which admin does what. Is there any other administrator?
I don't know if there's a Jamaican admin.
Oh. So you're not certain if the only admins are you and Andre?
That was what I'm aware of. I'm not aware of anyone else.
You're not aware of any. So that's a sticky one, isn't it? It is a sticky one. That one is one where it is purely your word against his. And you know, as I said, somebody like yourself in the legal profession knows how that goes. It's a very tricky area. You know, other than we would have to go on the basis of good faith that it may not be you. But I'm going to ask you it another way. What would you stand to gain if it was you? How would this help you? So
I don't see how
you don't see how it would help you.
I don't see how it would.
Well, think about it this way. The leaks, for example, the first leak that came out had the cryptic message across that said, oh, this is how a gentleman speaks to a woman or to a lady.
Can I say something in relation to that particular voice note?
Yes.
From my understanding, that conversation or that burst up between her and Andre was after my burst up with Andre. So by then, Andre has stopped sending me a recording. My recording date back from February 2022 to the 6th of either the 6th or the 7th of August.
Right. So you're saying you received no voice notes from Andre after that. Nothing was forwarded to you. No
recordings after the last recording was on this thing about the 7th of August.
Right. And you're thinking that this bust up took place afterwards?
From my understanding, I'm not quite clear.
This is the video that I am referring to. It should come up on the screen in a minute. And as you can see, he goes into that video and he changes all of the details there, and he gives a different story behind the actual video, right? Or rather the voice note. He goes, Wayne, you are evil, and you put my voice note without the full version. You evil bad, went as far as to try to destroy my fashion brands. So we can see that his logo is dead center, which was quite odd, because I was like, well, why would he put his clothing stuff on there? How does that help his situation if he himself was doing it to tarnish his brand? But then he's picking up on that, so we're not quite certain if that's a manipulative
But
point.
if you go back to certain places into that tirade, he goes back to explaining something like me going on to Ordain, talking to Ordain to come out and destroy and expose him, because Ordain is linked to the brand, which, however, I haven't spoken to Ordain since 2022 anyway. But
Right.
the voice note says a lot of cryptic things, which kind of linked into the cryptic behavior that follows.
Okay, so shall I play some of it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm going to come off camera, guys, so bear with me. I'm not going to play the voice now, but I'm just going to play it in the background with this image right here. Let me know in the comments if you can hear. Hold on.
Jezebel, I tolerate you all this time. I know you weren't genuine. I know you listened to me to use it against me one day, but Jezebel, it won't work. Jezebel, you're going to lose your seat. You're going to lose everything. I am not a Judas, I'm a little David, I'm a Moses. And when Israel was in bondage clay, a sea before them laid, God reached out his mighty
The
hand.
cryptic message I'm referring to wasn't in that voice note. The one he sent to me,
could have go
sorry.
swim in a river.
Sorry, say that again.
The cryptic message when referring to myself and Ordain with that, what I was talking about, it's the voice note that he was cursing me out, not this one.
Not this one. Okay, fine. All right, I'm going to skip this one then, guys. It's not this one. All right, hold on. Just bear with me. So it's the one where he's saying episode 3 or something like that.
The one where he said I went to interview with Carlos and Epic, but more to the end of that recording.
Okay, hold on. All right. So it's this one.
I gather that you want.
I'm just going to share it because this one's easy to share. Bear with me, guys. Not sure what's happening, but everything's frozen. Just bear with me. No, sir. This is science. It's not working as I want. Bear with me. Okay. And we're back. It didn't like that at all, guys. Me a fret no. Hold on. It never liked it at all, but we are going to get there. Hold your horses. Okay. No, sir. Hold on. It didn't like it.
To the
But here I
interview
go.
with Epic.
So I'm going to jump to the end.
Wanted interview with Carlos.
Hold on. Okay, I see what the problem is. It didn't like that. It didn't like it, guys. I have to do it again. It didn't like it. Mm-mm. Boy, I tell you about technical difficulties. It's the most annoying thing. I think I should just play it in the background.
I gather that you wanted the interview with Epic. And I gather that you wanted the interview with Epic and wanted interview with Carlos. Speak. Speak. I dare you to speak.
Is it this one,
I dare you
Wayne?
to start it. Because you have got it in
Yes,
your own
that's
right.
correct.
Nobody can control you. Speak, Wayne. And when I cry for the millions you take from me, will you tell me, say, oh Jesus, when I cry for my YouTube money when I work hard for, when him Andre Stevens show, when me I pay you for, even before when you start get paid, for all your trip them when you take a burning and for all of my money you use to give your family. Yeah, man. Without my permission. All right. Start it. But remember, me have the proof now. So you have plans to go. And when they destroy me and take me money like ODN, you was the biggest scammer. Come take me YouTube money when me are settle in a little room and I take disrespect and I take it from people. For bill, I go and show Jamaica you scam me and fraud me and blackmail me. And I go and hey.
So Wayne, he speaks about blackmailing. Okay. And
Hey,
I think that that's
hold on
one
a second.
thing
Hold
I
on a
want to
second.
just.
Hey,
Yeah.
1 second, please. I am going to show Jamaica how you scam me and fraud me and blackmail me.
Yes.
That everything else came after that voice note. All of the bangarangs on his page claiming to be me came
Right.
after that voice note.
Right.
So that was one of the cryptic messaging I was referring to.
So he was basically setting the stage, is what you're saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, correct.
Right. And getting ready to show everybody that look how I am going to now prove it.
Look how Wayne destroy me. Look how he's the Judas. You can continue to play.
And I but somebody as intelligent as he is.
I'm not hearing you.
To me,
Head teacher, I'm not hearing you.
Okay, all right. Oh yes, so yes, there are people, but they're hearing me. I think it may be your Wi-Fi on your side, Wayne. They're
Okay.
saying that they're hearing. So what I'm trying to say is that yes, he may be manipulative, because I know that a lot of mental health patients, that's one of the key features of mental health patients, is that they can be very manipulative to get what they want, particularly when they're denied what they want to do. Okay. Now, the question I have to ask you, Wayne, he said that you blackmailed him. I also remember from the discussion that you had requested 50% as your your payoff, so to speak, from Partner Draw TV, as opposed to the 30% that you settled with.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think, because based on everything, I'm really looking at it like Andre's looking at that 30% as some kind of blackmail. And I'm asking you, why did you feel the need to ask for 50? Why do you think you deserved 50%?
It's how negotiation works.
Yeah. So you started high.
Yes.
With the intention that it would go down. Is that right?
Yes. That's how negotiation works.
Absolutely. It makes sense. It makes sense. And I thought so as well, because when I did hear it, I was like, okay, that's business. Because when you're going in and you're pitching, you pitch high, and then people will, peg you down until you end up on the kind of ground that you're happy with. So it didn't strike me as, oh, you're being greedy or whatever. Anybody who's involved in business when it comes to financial negotiations knows that it's a done thing, that you pitch higher than you're expected to walk away with, because if you pitch too low, then they'll go even lower. Do you understand?
That's good.
So that makes absolute sense to me. I remain convinced that's the way that you chose to negotiate, and so on. But Andre uses that information to then manipulate it and to make it look like you are basically trying to blackmail him.
No, but
if
you hear him, the blackmail goes further, because he mentioned I'm blackmailing him from the time of Queen Ifrica, which I'm sort of confused about. So
you don't know anything about that?
No. The only thing I knew after the interview with him and Queen Ifrica, where Queen Ifrica asked him some questions which irritated him or took a line which got under his skin, and he wanted me to go out and give Queen Ifrica a good thrashing. And the only thing I know about the woman is that I love the songs that she sings. So
you don't know anything else about her?
Well, I would not. I mean, I've never met the woman before. I've only ever seen her on screen or on stage. So I don't know why I should give her a good thrashing for democracy. So that would have been the only problem, because I didn't went out and give Queen Ifrica a good lashing. Other than that, I have no idea what he's talking about.
Wow. So clearly there's something that he's carrying a grudge for from that time. All right, let's carry on listening, guys. I'm going to come off camera again just to make sure that the visuals don't get.
Farmer, I'm going to show them the journey where you come as the serpent and Eve. I go and go from the beginning of creation. I go and destroy you with venom and fire. Use a drunkard, use a dirty beast, and go on a graveyard tonight. Go on for your mama tonight. Go on for your dirty parity family. On a mix up in an Adventist and mix up in an RG. Go on. Because when you're done, when you go to the highest Obia man, the one that sent Mary dead, yeah, go on all over now. Go on all of the graveyard, them where you know figure order. Just go on at them. Just go on, Wayne. You never see me weak me the last time. You want me. Hey.
What does he mean by that, Wayne? What does he mean by that? That he weakened you the last time? That's quite a serious comment. What does he mean by that?
I really don't know. But it sounds to me like it's a spiritual warfare. But I really don't know what he's referring to be honest. But it sounds like
ask you this? Yes, it does. It does sound like a spiritual thing. Can I ask you this? Does
Mm.
Andre have a tendency to refer to spiritualism a lot when he's having arguments with members of his team? Is this a common thing?
I don't know if about members of his team, but with me, yes.
With you in particular, yes, it's a regular
Yes.
feature.
Yes.
Why is it that he feels comfortable discussing these kind of things with you? Are you also of that allegiance when it comes to your spirituality? Is it something that you have as a common bond?
I'm very interested in African spirituality, in the elevation of humanity, but I'm not interested in demonic spirit to use on persons for negative purposes.
Right. So from what I'm hearing is that it sounds to me as though between yourself and Andre, you have had some kind of common grounds in terms of recognizing that religions exist outside of Western culture, that is more authentic to the African self and the African heritage. And through that exploration or sharing of common grounds, Andre has veered off on a deeper tangent than you were prepared to meet him with. Is that correct?
Correct. That is correct. And I think for him, it's the fact that he wants to be in control, and he is a person who likes power and authority. So such person would want to climb the ladder. I see Andre as a social climber. So such person would want to use any power or superstition to climb the ladder. I'm not that. I'm a very laid back person.
Now, people, we have heard this perspective from Andre before, so let's not pretend. As much as this is in relation to Wayne in specific, in the leaked voice note that took place about Shelley Karan and Carleen, the dancehall queen, he did make it clear that he wanted Carleen to come with, was it 3 or 2 other people? Because it needs to be 3 of them. Yes, 2 other people, in order to complete a ritual, a process. So we have heard Andre refer to these kind of spiritual things before outside of his communication with Wayne. So it sounds to me that there is this mixture of it could be African spiritualism, it could be ritualistic behavior, that, you know, to me may also take on some other nuances when he's using it to threaten. Because if he's using it to threaten, that implies that the spiritualism is not necessarily always positive, that it can also be dark.
Precisely. Spiritualism can be used for good and for bad. But with Andre, there is a power and a control that comes with him that would make him veer into the dark side, where it's the side that you would veer for the power, for manipulation, or for control. And control is a massive thing for him, massive. And if you notice, he was just by me saying, God in my own blood clot, right? Nobody can control me. That is a problem for him. A massive
because
problem.
Then you're not a weak fence. You can't.
This is why he's daring me to speak. Because I must be under his subjection.
So Wayne, may I just ask though, because you are certainly speaking right now, and after all this time when he was posting certain things, making certain statements, you remained quiet, you remained silent for a long period of time. Then you started to make a rumbling of a noise on your own platforms, and now you have come out with a mighty noise. What benefit do you think coming to these interviews is going to do? What's the benefit that you're looking for out of sharing your perspective, not just on this platform, but on TikTok, on Instagram, you know, in various formats? what is your aim? Because if he's telling you, like, he dares you to speak, and by speaking, you will come under his subjection, isn't that exactly what you're doing now? You are speaking according to what he's dared you to do?
No, I've always wanted to speak before the tirade. I wanted was to say my piece of how I got dismissed from partner job. When he found out I want to speak, that's what infuriates him. I'll put it as though, given what was happening, especially last week, where my character was trashed across every social media platform you could run to. It's not right to come out in a storm with your bucket. It's after the storm that you come out and start cleaning up.
Yeah.
My name was tarnished on every social media platform for days. Some people have choir practice. I was waiting for Andre to do the decent thing I thought he would have at some point when he calmed down and saw the awful blunder.
So you are hoping that he would stop with his tirades, that he would back down, that he would make good.
I was hoping he would say to people I was angry and I told a lie on. I was hoping for that.
And that never came.
That never came. He rather doubled down and continued to accuse me. And as he said, I'm creating an illusion around him.
So this is to answer all of you who have more or less said that the ex-producer Wayne is using social media in order to build himself. He's trying to compete with Andre Stevens. He's trying to build up his own audience and so on.
Let me answer that.
Yeah, they've been saying it in the comments and all over the place, but I see a perfectly legitimate reason that to me sounds like a sound explanation as to why it is that he is doing multiple interviews on multiple platforms with multiple people who will pull out different elements of his story, because essentially he has been slated in the same way. That makes sense to me. Because if you've been slated in Instagram, you want to go to Instagram to clear your name. If you've been slated on TikTok, you want to go to TikTok to clear your name. If you've been slated on Facebook, on YouTube, you need to go to those places in order to push the boundaries and clear your name.
Precisely.
So that makes perfect sense as to why it is that you did it. Okay, we're going to carry on with this.
Bear in mind that my pickup will come at 11 o'clock because I'm going party tonight.
Oh. Okay, don't worry, that's fine. We're on time, so that's fine. We will finish by that's fine. We'll finish at that time. All right. Okay.
Silence. Come now, man. I want to meet you to mash you up. I not even meet you. I will never meet you. But you are going to send back my money. And you not get no more. Let me tell you that. You not get no more. Because you don't break it, you want to have interview. And I know, you know, I knew today that I needed to post something for somebody send me something. Thank God for Epic. Thank God for Epic. Epic, who has always been the most genuine and loyal. It's not only was the problem, you're delusional, Wayne. You never know say delusional, you're delusional. You come, you want to shine that and you plan, you go call Odin and start plan. Oh, now go tell everything. But come now, Wayne. Come, little David ready. David was a shepherd boy and killed Goliath and shouted for joy. Wayne, me no reason why I'm silent so long. You recognize how I run from every time you disrespect me? Me run.
Okay. We're going to stop there for the same purpose of the fact that there's time constraints, but we're going to just touch on one thing that's really important. Wayne, he mentioned the fact that within your team, there seemed to be a collusion, that people are organizing amongst themselves to tear him down. Can you counteract that in any way that will shed some light on what he's saying? He has mentioned the fact that he has overheard your discussions with Narissa. He has now mentioned Adain. I know that in the past on his platform during the August-September period, he also at some point threw the young producer out, who then came out and said, keep me out of the mess, because I saw him in the comments. He seems to think that there are members in his team who are actively working against him. Is this the intention, that the team has had enough of Andre's mental health issues, has had enough of his outbursts and how he handles things, and therefore your intention is to destroy Partner Draw TV? What's the end game is what I'm asking. Is it that you would all like to see Partner Draw TV split up, done away with, rebranded? Or is it that you are just wanting your justice and to go your way and never to come back? Or would you like at some point to repair?
What is the most concerning thing? All right, let me deal with the first bit where you spoke about Andre think his team is ganging up against him. If you're not at this point, throwing Wayne under the bus, blocking Wayne from your phone, unsubscribing from Wayne, then you are plotting against Andre. Shernet and I spoke once when Shernet was meant to be a guest on the show sometime early this year. We never spoke again until after the 13th of August, when everything started going downhill. Adain was Andre's business partner, the person who basically like hand over Andre to me when they were parting business. Right. I have not spoken to Adain since we started the YouTube channel, but at this point, everybody is on my side if they're not tearing me down. That is basically where that is all coming from. There's nothing else behind it. When it comes to
so basically, if they're not in support of the aggression and the vitriol, then that means that they're enemies.
Yes. And this was why I warned him last night, back off the team. Yes. Because he's planning to burn everybody that doesn't throw Wayne under the bus, and Wayne isn't going to have that either.
So the final thing before we summarize and just wind everything up.
Hold on, let me deal with Partner Draw. Let me deal with Partner Draw first.
Yes, yes.
The most important thing at the moment is getting Andre treated and sorted and getting back on the road. When it comes to do with the brand Partner Draw, everybody's interest is to protect the brand and revive the brand as soon as Andre is fit and ready. That's where the decision for Partner Draw is.
And the question I have to ask you, the final thing is, should Andre get the treatment that is necessary? Should Andre prove to regret his past behavior and demonstrate that, and no doubt publicly and openly, would you ever be interested in going back to work with him as his producer or as his partner in business? I think I asked you a tough one.
In the interest of Jamaica, I'd be willing to consider it. In the interest of the nation. The nation. Nothing personal anymore. Only in the interest of the nation. That would be the only way that I would rethink.
And I'm pretty certain that the supporters of Andre Stevens would be so pleased to see that, should it take place in that way. We can only continue to, wish you well, to support both of you in different ways, in different formats. One thing Head Teacher K is not about is about tearing down any individual. I do believe that Andre Stevens has got mental health issues that he does need intervention for. And it is hopeful that he will get that help, and try not to, deceive the public into thinking that he's in an institution when he's not, because I heard that on the interview last night. That's not going to get him any further. It is really important that he gets the help and he takes it on board, that it is necessary. But likewise, in terms of Wayne, legal opinions, Forbes, I believe that it is important that the public withholds from slander and libel. Respect the fact that these two men have gone their separate ways for whatever personal or professional reasons, and that they should abstain from all kinds of scandal with regards to monetary matters, unless they have got hardcore evidence, which is exactly what we dealt with today on the live. The time came, and now the time's about to end. Thank you very much, Wayne, for joining me and for joining my class. Graduates, visitors, thank you very much for also joining the live, and for all of your comments. I'm sorry I was not able to read all the comments as much as I normally would have, but this was quite an intense interview and we really wanted to get everything in as much as we can. Thank you for taking the time for sharing your truth, Wayne, and we do wish you all the best, and hope that things resolve in a way that at least both of you can walk away with your dignity as you deserve. Okay?
Thank you. And before I go, I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell my story. And thank you for being fair and objective in your reporting.
It's my pleasure.
And I would like to also thank your audience for giving me their time tonight.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. See you on another live for another hot topic. There's always something going on in social media to discuss. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And you know what? Pick up yourselves, guys. This is your girl, Head Teacher K. Bye-bye.